to witness this. And as Lisa said, any loss of life is too much. But when you go around from neighborhood to neighborhood and see people abandoning their homes, and in this moment here, it was rapid rising. You see people shaking. They're in shell shock. They're getting, they're getting off a boat from their home. They didn't walk away from it. They were escorted or rescued by a boat. In multiple neighborhoods, we saw people coming together. That's for sure. We saw neighbors helping neighbors. We saw people, volunteers, so many volunteers around here on their own boats. We ran in last night into a firefighter who was out on his own boat for the entire day rescuing people. The county called out for anybody here, if you have a boat, please feel free to use it. And we've seen that a lot. So the human element is that people have got each other's backs here, but there is also a lot of shell shock and just genuine heartbreak as you walk around and you witness people leaving their homes behind.
Matt, well, first of all, you're doing such a great job covering this for us, and thank you so much for bringing all these stories to our attention. I want to talk about, I know that I have been so struck by the resiliency of Texans and the togetherness that we've seen in the face of, such a dangerous and scary time in this storm. Can you tell us about any moments that have stood out to you as you've been covering this for the past couple of days?
I think first and foremost was the firemen last night. We were in Maryland, which is a huge residential area on the southwestern side of the city. Houston police tell us perhaps the hardest hit area. We spent nearly the entire day and into the night there last night. And towards the tail end of the night, in the same saturating rain you're seeing right now, out of the darkness came this little boat that was floating, and on it were 3 firemen, and they were clearly exhausted. And they said, we've spent the entire day rescuing people. I can't even count how many people we've rescued from roofs and people we've rescued from their homes. And they actually said, can you give us a ride back to the fire station? And I'm not the hero. I'm not trying to point that out. But they were so exhausted, they couldn't go any further. A story like that you see replicated over and over. In that same neighborhood, the man that we talked to said, well, my wife and kids are back in the house. We're abandoning it. I'm running this canoe over to my brother because I think he's going to need it next. We watched as a young lady last night, we brought you on air last night, a young lady who was watching her car go underwater. She said, I tried to move it the night before, but I couldn't get it started. And now she sat there watching a fairly nice new car that she might be working hard to drive go underwater. And so there is a resiliency, but, there is also people who are frustrated in situations like this, who say, we don't know where to turn to. And so that element is there as well. But in general, right now, I think most people are trying to help each other, get out and stay alive here in Texas, Lisa.
Well, Matt, was this a surprise, this level of flooding? And he keeps saying it's going to get worse, it's going to get worse. Do we know how much worse? What are people expecting?
Well, our meteorologists, who have been doing an outstanding job, that goes without saying, they have been saying that this could be in total a 5-day event. And I think right now we're about 3 or so days into it. And, the forecasts have called for up to 50 inches of rain, if you can wrap your mind around that. And I don't know where we stand on that scale right now. But, since I arrived here Friday, our forecasters have been saying this is going to be a 5-day event, if not longer. And they were saying from the start, basically, that most of the damage would probably not come from wind, which we have seen a lot of that, but from this consistent rain. And, this is being referred to as a catastrophic, unprecedented event here. In fact, I talked to 2 of those firemen last night, and they said, one of them who's the president of the Firemen's Association of Houston, and he said this is without a doubt, he went on record saying this is the most catastrophic event we've ever seen. Here you guys see some neighbors coming out. How you guys doing?
Better now.
Better now? Is one of your homes back here?
Yeah, it's way in the back on Kingsbridge there.
Are you leaving it for good tonight?
Oh, yeah. We left last night. Just had to come back and get my dog.
Well, we wish you guys well. Where do you go from here?
Well, thank God we have a good neighbor over by Barbara Bush. We were staying with them last night for the rest of the duration.
Did you guys know a storm of this intensity was coming?
We had no idea. If we would have been gone a long time ago.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. So that somewhat answers your question there. Back to you in New York, guys.
Matt Finn, thank you so much. Hearing so much talk about neighbors and community
it's very profound. Much more on Harvey directly ahead, including the latest forecast on the next colossal round of rain for the region. Stay with us.